Hi, my name is Quinn from HealthAge International. Welcome to my presentation on climate change, older people, and biochar. Two most pressing challenges humanity is facing in the 21st century are rapid aging. In 2020, older people make up 13.5% of the world population and will increase to 21.4% by 2050. Many people, especially policymakers, are very concerned about this rapid rise. However, current and future older people are more educated, healthier, wealthier, and more active than past generations. If they were invested, they can be major players to help reverse climate change, global warming, and promote sustainable, equitable, and inclusive development. Second, climate change. Unfortunately, our carbon footprint is projected to continue to increase, mostly due to the following three reasons. 1. Population growth. 2. Increased consumption and GDP growth. Lastly, rapid urbanization. Our current annual carbon footprint is about 40 billion tons of CO2 per year. Therefore, it is very important for us to find a way to reduce and offset this amount. Looking at the bigger picture, to combat our climate change global warming problem, we need to select the right solution for the right problem. If our climate change global warming problem is this size, our plan A, which for the past 30 years has been to reuse, reduce, and recycle, would be the perfect intervention. Plan A would not stop global warming, but will slow it down. However, if our climate change global warming is bigger, Plan A would not be enough. We would need to add Plan B, which focuses on being carbon neutral, such as moving away from using fossil fuel to renewable energy like solar, hydro, water, and bio. However, if our climate change global warming problem is very large, it is gigantic like the size of Godzilla, then plan A and B is not enough. We need to add plan C, which is carbon negative. Carbon negative will enable us to reverse global warming by offsetting current and past CO2 emission. To help us have a clear picture, this is a graph showing the projected global CO2 emission and rise in global temperature by various intervention plans. If we continue with only Plan A, global temperature will likely reach 3 degrees Celsius by 2100. If we implement both Plan A and Plan B, global temperature will likely reach 2%. However, realizing the scenario would require urgent drastic measure and at least a 2 gigaton of CO2 emission removal per year. If we implement Plan A, B, and C, we can stop and even reverse rise in global temperature. So what action can we take to reduce climate change and global warming? To help us to decide what action to take and what would be the impact, we have this chart. Not all action has the same or equal impact. This is a chart showing the annual CO2 emission saving by activities. For example, if you change to eat a plant-based diet, you would save this much per year. If you change to eat only or mostly local grown food, you would save this much per year. Or have one fewer child, you can save this much per year. However, if you decide to be a full-time biochar maker, you can reasonably save 1,000 tons of CO2 annually. Yes, this is a big wow. To understand why biochar is so important, we need to go back to the carbon cycle. CO2 is in the atmosphere. Vegetation, when it is grown, captures the CO2, but when it rots, eaten, used, or burnt, release the CO2 back into the atmosphere as well as other greenhouse gas and air pollution. The problem of the vegetation is its short-term carbon storage capacity. However, if we add biochar to the cycle, this problem will be resolved. Converting vegetation into biochar will release about 20% of the carbon, but will store 80% in the biochar. Biochar is well known for its long-term carbon storage capacity. Here is a flowchart of our vegetation and biochar scheme. First, farmer grows the crop. They harvest the crop and gather their food. They then take their biomass waste and convert it to biochar in 1 to 2 hours. The biochar is then used to make soil enhancer and other health and environmentally friendly products. Using biochar soil enhancer will increase crop production. With each cycle, you will be able to produce more food, use less water and fertilizer, and produce more and more biochar. There will be less and less CO2 and air pollution in the atmosphere. This is a win for the farmer and win for the planet. There are many ways to make biochar. However, the one that we are promoting is by far the fastest and easiest method to learn, set up, and do. It requires the lowest investment, does not require infrastructure like road, electricity, building, or running water. It is very mobile and easy to transport to anywhere in the village. You can move it to the biomass waste. It is also very flexible. You can make it at household level, community level, or in industrial level. It is designed for poor and small rural and semi-urban communities. It also can bring multiple benefits such as reducing global warming, air pollution, increase food and income security, and can enhance long-term soil health. The most common question we receive relating to our biochar scheme are, is there enough biomass? Will it cause deforestation? Our response is, a typical village, for example in Thailand, would only need to convert less than 15% of their biomass waste into biochar to get 1,000 tons of CO2 per year. This is a typical $1,000 village-sized biochar making scheme. It can make 2 tons of biochar per day. This is a simple diagram of a biochar making scheme using only one biochar kit daily. 250 kilograms of biomass is converted into 100 kilograms of biochar, which contain 80 kilograms of carbon, or equivalent to 288 kilos of CO2 per day, or in 1 year, 105 tons of CO2. To promote rapid scale-up of biochar production, we would need to have some form of financial incentive, for example, $20 per ton of CO2. If this happens, if a village can gather this much biomass per day, they will be able to store this much CO2 and earn this much per year. However, if a village is able to gather this much biomass, they will get this much per year. The more they can gather and convert to biochar, the more they can get financially. It can become a very lucrative financial activity of the community. With carbon credit incentive, we can rapid growth in biochar production, which will in turn remove large amounts of CO2 permanently. Removing 2 gigatons of CO2 per year is very doable. Terra petra, or black soil, is a fertile man-made soil found in the Amazon basin. It was made by Amazon Indians hundreds and thousands of years ago to improve the infertile Amazon soil. Terra petra soil can remain fertile and store carbon for hundreds and thousands of years. This is an example of using biochar to reclaim degraded land. This is a photo of a 100-year-old mine in Colorado which has lost all of its topsoil and is contaminated with heavy metal. After 1 year of applying biochar, the result can clearly be seen. It normally takes Mother Nature around 1,000 years to make 1 inch of topsoil. Biochar can do this in a few years. Here you can see the result of plant growth with and without biochar. The growth of plant with biochar is much faster than plant without. Conclusion and recommendation. Older People and Older People Association, or OPA, is rapidly growing. In the Asia and Pacific region alone, there are more than 700,000 OPA with hundreds of millions of members. If they are included, invested, they can scale up biochar awareness, production, and usage to national and global scale. $1,000 per village scale biochar site and providing $20 per ton of CO2 incentive is affordable. This will greatly increase the production and usage of biochar, which will reverse climate change, global warming, reduce air pollution, improve food and income security, and help countries to reach many of its SDG targets. Now I would like to invite you to see a video highlighting the roles of older people in 4 countries promoting the awareness, production, and usage of biochar.
ภาวะของโลกปัจจุบันที่ร้อนขึ้นเกิดจากการปล่อยคาร์บอนของมนุษย์ทานไบโอชาร์จะเป็นตัวที่จะช่วยดูดซับคาร์บอนในอากาศ
বায়োসার পরিবেশ এবং জলবায়ু পরিবর্তনের জন্য খুবই ভালো। এটা আমার মতন নারীর জন্য খুব উপকারী। আমি রান্নার কাজে বায়োচার ব্যবহার করি, কারণ ওজে জ্বলে, বেশি তাপ, ধোয়া ছাড়া রান্না করা যায়। এটা আমার সময় ও খরচ বাঁচায়, রান্নার সময় স্বাস্থ্য সুরক্ষা করে।
Làm than sinh học rất dễ và nhanh, không tốn nhiều kinh phí. Than sinh học có lợi cho môi trường, vật nuôi và cải thiện đất bằng màu. Tôi mong rằng tổ chức 2, người cao tuổi, chính quyền các cấp nhân rộng mô hình này trên toàn quốc.